Okay, welcome everyone to another morning of green all over, zero waste in the elemental body. I'm so excited. She's back from Burning Man. Woo! To introduce Rachel. How are you, Rachel?
Hi, I'm doing very well. I'm activated by the desert and inspired by people that create amazing things out there. That's for sure.
Well, that's definitely being in the desert, being in that element, being outside of the city. How does that activate you?
It activates me that all things are possible, that our limitations are only within our own selves. As we were driving into Burning Man, and this is my fifth time attending Burning Man, being a part of it, I said to my wife, I was just like, why do these people keep coming back year after year in these great masses? And not only do they come back, but they come back with more larger projects and more energy that they invest in time and money. And I'm just blown away that people just keep doing it. And I ask a lot of people, I'm like, why do you keep coming back to Burning Man? And they all say it's community. It's being able to give and offer their love and their creative expression and get feedback and have people come and add to it. And it's really beautiful to see that Burning Man still holds a container of community love and togetherness and strengthening that bond, and that's what blows me away. And just that people, yeah, they keep coming back each and every year with such beautiful ways to express their creativity.
And what I really liked what you said was love and creative expression. That tie, how to create, you have to create from a place of love, for it to be powerful. I think. I mean, you can create from other places, but I know you're a creator of many things, and we'll get your background in a minute. But you are a DJ, and so you DJ there, and so how is music a part of the way that you create love and vibration?
Yeah, I think frequencies are all around us, within us, and what I transmit as a DJ can definitely change the people who experience my music on a cellular level. And when I play, I like to play music that really supports the heart and encourages connection to the soul. And my DJ name is Exoendo, which is Greek for outside, inside. And my little tagline is outside activation for the movement within. So I also layer my music with isochronic tones and hemisync, which is also vibrational frequencies that help tap into different parts of the body and release tensions and fears and different things that we hold in our bodies that need to be let go in order to have a very a full, balanced, and healthy life. I believe that disease actually starts with emotions being trapped in the body. And if we don't take care of releasing what is stagnant in our bodies, then it can develop into something more physical. So I think for people to just naturally be drawn to go dance when they are stressed out, or dance when they also want to celebrate. I think human beings just know that that movement, that need, that desire to move and shake and do whatever they need to do is definitely um, very basic in what we as human beings know that we need to do to release and move our bodies so we can no longer keep stagnant energies within us. When an animal goes through a very fearful experience, you'll notice that afterwards they'll shake afterwards, and that's their way to release what they had experienced in their cells. And so I feel like that is something that we need to do as human beings. I notice whenever I go through a very stressful experience, afterwards I feel tense. I notice my breath, I hardly breathe. And it's very important to take a moment to just kind of like shake out and do some deep breathing. And definitely working with plants is helpful, but I think beyond anything, we have to start with the basics, and that's our own bodies. And I'm a huge component of us all being our own great self-healer, and we just need to tap into that and really take care of our bodies as much as possible, and take care of them in ways where we don't even have to spend any money. It's just mindfulness on how to really tap into our own energies. Yeah, so that's how I feel.
That's amazing. I shook it off, you know, and I think I need some of your music today.
Yeah, when I play, I love to play journeys, to
Oh,
take
nice.
people on a journey. I like to go like deep and dark and really
Oh.
activate the root chakra, and just allow people to really connect with that, like
Mm.
that tribal experience, and then
Mm.
move up through the chakras. I do program all my sets thinking of the chakras, and then
Oh,
moving up
nice.
to where I end astral, um, shiningly bright music that really allows people to connect to the stars. And when I dance, I feel like I have the greatest ability to download and meditate and really process things. So I just hope and encourage that for other people when they dance to my music.
I just got a new big drum from Sedona, a medicine drum. It'd be fun to collaborate, but we'll do that. We'll talk about that later. But that's been powerful as well. And I think journeying and drum beat and all those beats are powerful. And but you know, my question is this: okay, so you're in the desert and you're experiencing it there, but you're also a DJ in an urban setting in San Francisco. Is it different? Is the connection different?
Yes, of course. When I was playing, I played a sunrise set, and was just looking at the playa and saw the mountains and the sun coming up over it. There's just a sense of freedom and expansion, and connected with the earth in a way that's very, very basic. And I felt there. I felt so thankful to be a part of creating that moment for people there. And then when you're here in the city, you're playing inside a club that's dark, and there's other things going on. And I feel like there's definitely more of a need to encourage people to tap into their bodies, because when people are on the earth dancing on the playa, I think it's just kind of given that people have to connect to the earth and connect their bodies to the earth, and move with it. And then in a club, it's very different. So I like to bring that earth element into the club. And yeah, I hope that that resonates to people when I play.
How do you bring that earth element into an industrial club?
Like I said, I like to play. I like to play some like deep tribal house, so stuff with drums, stuff that sounds very uh, eclectic in different cultures, cultural music.
Cultural.
I've traveled all over the world and have collected music that really, I feel, open up a sense of of human beingness on this planet. Stuff that makes your heart like want to cry or scream um, or sing. So I love I love being a DJ for that reason. I love collecting and curating music that just like blows my mind or makes me cry. And I am so excited to share that with people when I get the opportunity to.
Now, you currently live in the Bay Area, and as we know, has become a city of cement, as some people call it, as cities keep growing. but you're not from there. You spent some time in Colorado. Do you want to kind of give us a background to your history and all the places that you love? I know you're a world traveler, but kind of just a background.
Yeah, I'm from Colorado. I grew up in Fort Collins and spent a lot of time hiking and spending time in nature, fishing, and just yeah, being around the river. And then I moved to New York City, which is complete opposite to Colorado, and learned a lot about myself and my strengths and things that needed to be strengthened. Um, and then from there, I started, after New York City, I started connecting back to um, what really can heal myself on a physical level. And also, I realized it's a soul level too. And I started with building, creating my own garden, and then eating the food that I grew. And I volunteered at organic farms. And it was through that that I decided to become an herbalist, because there was things that some health issues that I had of my own. And I had originally gone to Western practitioners, and I always felt like it was more of a band-aid and never really helped cure or support change in my body. And it was through my own self-discovery that just a really simple shift of using feverfew instead of ibuprofen for my migraines just changed my world completely. It went from me having debilitating migraines where I couldn't see for 3 days to me taking feverfew and other herbs, where I stopped having migraine since I started exploring with herbs when I was 18. So from then I haven't had migraines, and I kept like adding different herbs that I played around with whenever I got sick, and noticed that my colds were shorter, and I can actually take my health into my own hands instead of having to go into a doctor and get a prescription. And so it was when I started playing around with them and seeing a difference that I was like, okay, I also started playing around with food and the importance of organic food versus food that has been sprayed or treated, and realized that that also is a very huge component on wellness for me. And so through that, then I decided to go to herb school and get formal training, and then I ended up traveling all around Italy, where I worked and learned about herbs in Italy, and also worked and learned about food and animals and the land there. And then I eventually went to India, where I studied Ayurvedic medicine and learned about the Eastern component of a practice that has been practiced and used for thousands of centuries. And it's really beautiful to combine the knowledge of different cultures. And I feel so honored as a Westerner that I had the opportunity to go and really learn from different cultures and people, and kind of take what works for me and be able to share it with others. So yeah, so Europe and India. I spent a little time in China too. But it's just a really beautiful experience to see that um, we can heal ourselves through what the earth provides. Um, I really believe that what grows around us is probably what we need most.
Hmm.
And one of the interesting things that I think a lot of Americans have growing in their front or backyards is dandelion. And dandelion is something I think actually probably everyone should use. We all are bombarded with toxins, and we need support with our livers. So dandelion is a great way to help get rid of toxins and support our whole well-being. And it's really sad to see people spray Roundup on it um, and and tear it out with vengeance. But I think dandelion is one of the herbs that is a very special plant, and it's growing for a reason in everyone's yard.
I love dandelions. I don't know it would be interesting to trace the history of where that started, where people started hating dandelions, probably when they wanted, a white picket fence and TV dinners and 2.1 kids back in the day after the war. But we'll save that for another day. Now we had someone else speak a little bit of Ayurvedics, but if you had to if someone's brand new, has never heard Ayurvedics, could you give them a quick intro to what Ayurvedics is and kind of your insight to it?
Yeah. So it works within three doshas, and also works within energetics. So there's Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and those are three doshas that we all have within us, and but we are born with one being stronger component within our bodies and our cells, and then we can become out of balance if we're exposed to something that's too Kaphic, or something that's too hot and heating, that is the Pitta element. So it's a great philosophy in learning how to balance the elements within ourselves, and to look at it in a way that's symptomatic, but also in a way that is beyond just treating one thing one way, because everyone is so complex and different. And so it's looking at the person and really deciding like what they need, because one herb for one person will work one way, but one herb for that same herb for another person might be too heating and can actually encourage a different symptom. So it's a great way to really evaluate and learn more about a person and their constitution, and then to treat them with herbs that help support and either dampen or bring on more fire in their body so they can have better digestion, or whatever the person may have. There's different herbs that are definitely more specifically better for each person. So it's a great way, and it's also, Ayurvedic medicine is very it combines a lot of food as well. So it's not just herbs. A lot of it is adding food and knowing how to properly eat your food, whether it's like you should eat something that is hot or cold, or with this type of oil or this type of fat. So everyone needs a little something different. Otherwise, you're just kind of adding to pieces of a problem that really needs to be solved with kind of with different elements, and different components of either heating or warming or cooling, or all these different ways to really get down to the depth of the symptom.
So it sounds complicated. I know it is. I've dabbled in it once in a while and I get overwhelmed. But for me, what I hear out of this, and like you said something earlier about how people can heal themselves, and how we have, the ability to that, and the ability to be mindful. Ayurvedics is almost like that opportunity in that self journey of discovery and love. A lot of people don't like to pay attention to themselves. They're like, whatever, I'm good, and they keep moving on. But Ayurvedics makes you really look in, and watch and listen to your body. And that's not something that I think we're taught to do. I mean, I was an athlete. I was not taught to listen to my body. I was told that my body was weak, and to just keep pushing it. So I love that the journey of Ayurvedics is a journey of self-love and self-love of the body. And that's just hitting me right now. That's amazing. I should probably do more of it myself.
Self-love
Yeah.
and self-care. Like, one of my favorite things to just ease the nervous system is by doing a warm oil massage after you come out of the shower or bath, and just like taking that oil and rubbing it all over your body. It's great for the lymph system, but also it really calms the nerves, and it really gives that nutrients that you are lacking, that moisture. So it's, I think, taking the moment to actually slow down and touch yourself and give yourself that love and feel yourself and know that your body exists and it's not just your brain, and to connect you back to your full self. I think it's so easy for us, especially when we're busy, just to be completely in our head and detached from our body. And that's one way to really get back in touch and also give back that love, and to add that to your self care regimen. I think taking care of yourself is absolutely the way to give yourself love, for sure.
Yeah. And it's also, taking, for me, it's also intentionality, right? You could get out of the shower and be like, well, I'm in a dry place, so I'm just going to react and put something, a salve on, or, a lotion on, because I don't want my skin to look old, right? Or, that messaging that we get is you need this lotion and this lotion and this lotion, so you look young, so you stay young. So it's a very different intentionality. I'm doing this to put love back into myself, instead of like, oh, I'm afraid of aging. I'm afraid that no one's going to love me. I'm afraid that I'm not good looking enough or pretty enough, or that I'm afraid that I'm human and that I'm going to age, So I think that intentionality, that's what I think makes that powerful, and to take that step back, to do that. And I encourage everyone out there to next time that you put lotion on yourself or oil, do it with love. Don't do it because you're like, it's dry outside, or I'm aging, or I'm turning however many years. I've turned a few. So kind of changing that. And that's kind of how we can change our intentionality of how we love the planet. You mentioned that, how you're connected, not to the planet, not just through herbs, but vibration, so how is it, and how do you connect to the planet with intentionality, with your background, being a DJ, being an herbalist, traveling the world, studying Ayurvedic? How is it that the intentionality is so you?
I would say I had a very profound experience when I decided to take 8 months where I had my apothecary, and I was doing a lot of harvesting of plants, and um, starting up my apothecary, and I spent 8 months just camping in a tent. And I was making different flower essences and crystal essences, and basically spent most of my time outside. And then when I slept in a tent, I was still exposed to the stars and everything around me and the animals. I had this profound experience where I just would start waking up, and I would meditate, and then I would meditate with crystals, and then I would start automatic writing. And then it kind of like all came together where when I was in a place that I didn't have any separation, great separation between myself and nature, that I really felt absolutely deeply connected to source, to the energies and the messages from above. That's really when I felt like I was home. I was in my body, connecting to my purpose and my reason for coming back to this planet. Um, and with that going forward, everything that I make and work with plants, um, I I touch everything, harvest everything with asking for permission, and I blend with intention of wellness and well-being and happiness and balance. And when I mix my herbs, I mix them with prayers um, for people to have health and safety and love and peace. It's I think intention is a very important component of working with plants and creating medicine. And also, I think doing things with the awareness of the moon too is something very big for me. Um, For example, last night was a new moon, and around this time, it's very potent to be able to go within on the darkest night of the moon and really see places that are just aren't working, or feel like you're swimming upstream, or um, seeing relationships or your health or different things that just don't feel right, and being able to reflect on that, and then from there, with the new moon, be able to release what you no longer want to carry, dialogue that you want to stop running in your head, or there's so many different ways to really let go and be supported. Sorry for that, Dean. To be supported on a new moon, and then with that, using biodynamics and other farming techniques that have been used for centuries, the best time to plant a seed is on a new moon. It's because it is the darkest time of the year, or of the moon. It gives the seed chance to really germinate and root down into, allow the roots to root down into the earth. And then as the moon starts to wax, become fuller, the moon kind of entices the plant to move up towards the light. And as the moon waxes each night, the plant will grow with the moon and come out taller and fuller and stronger. If you do it at a different time, there will be too much influence on the upward growth, so there will be weak roots. So it's very important to have strong roots, and therefore we can grow strong and bright and outwards, but important to have that foundation. So with that, it's very, very potent to be able to place your seeds of intention of what you want to call into your life. And when you do that with mindfulness, and if you do that with prayer and asking for guidance and help, I think those are all great things that can come together and support you to really make shifts and manifest what you want to do on this planet.
Wow, I never knew that exactly about seed planting, and it makes sense, like you said, when you want to manifest new things. I did a new moon check, so hopefully I'm be getting a lot of money soon. But biodynamics, that's a buzzword, you know. It's definitely, I'm in the wine business and we talk about it. Rudolf Steiner, 1914, I believe. And what you kind of explained was biodynamics, right? Planting and gathering in the moon cycle. That was beautiful. I think a lot of people don't understand what it means, but I think if you can also almost create a human biodynamics, right? When do we put intentions? When do we grow our roots? What are the great the ways that we can connect to Mother Earth and her cycles to work with her, right? And not push things. You know, I have a tendency of pushing things sometimes, you know, so to work in with her and with her cycles, and the reason being is we are elemental, just like Mother Earth, right? Yeah, we still
are,
yeah.
And we're all connected.
Yeah,
we're not separate.
exactly. So taking that into mind, you know, you talked about how disease is emotions trapped in the body. So how could you relate that to Mother Earth with the diseases that she has? Is that something that we can talk about? You know, is
Um, that's a heavy topic.
yeah, especially with everything going on in California, all the fires and the hurricanes happening.
Yeah, I mean, I feel in a way overpopulation is a contribution to the disease. Obviously, our waste, which is huge and heartbreaking. Um, the yeah, the emissions from gas, and basically, as our population grows and we move forward, thinking mostly about um, production and creating life to be as easy as possible with using all these different things to keep us warm or cool, um, or get us from one point to the other point, obviously everything we're using is not natural. So when we take away our walking from place to place or using a horse to get here and there, we are definitely changing and adding to the cause of the disease of Mother Earth, which is heartbreaking because I know I get in the car and I drive out to nature, and I know that experience is contributing to the problem. And I really wish I could walk everywhere or ride my horse. So it's definitely something I think we all need to have a good check-in with ourselves and know what we can do to do our part to um, contribute the least possible of disease. I'm sorry, I'm trying to close this down. Let me see. There we go. So yeah, so I think obviously choosing by what you buy, voting with your dollar is very important. Buying organic food is not only very important for your body, but it's important for the earth too, because you're not contributing or funding a business to spray poison onto the plants, which kills bugs and disrupts the balance of nature. And I think we definitely have to be mindful with where we place our dollars, knowing who we support, what businesses we support is very important. And yeah, to do the best to really be conscious of what we do, the actions we take, and that definitely comes with different yeah, with what we spend.
It just kind of dawned on me that one of the things that we've talked about on different levels is appearances. That, it's always like, whether it's the appearance of how we're approaching a manicured lawn with no dandelions, right?
Yes.
Or the appearance of the intentionality of making sure that our skin is supple and looking young. So do you think that in this quest, this modern quest to keep up appearances, that we're poisoning ourselves?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you look at it from a external point of view, just from, yes, our lawns, um, or where we choose to live, like I know people who, there has been statistics, well, I don't know if you hear these beeps, but I'm sorry.
I thought they were meditation beeps, so.
Yeah, exactly. Um, where you live is very important on the reflection on your health. Like I know people, there's been studies that have been shared with public that people who live on golf courses where the lawns have been sprayed with chemicals day after day tend to have more illnesses. And when you create a front yard that is low scape, very using plants that are coming from the area, then they need, depending on where you live, like here we definitely are experiencing drought, so using plants that are native, and those native plants need less watering, and that is also really beautiful too, to use plants that are from that are natural in their environments. But I think it's when we try to create like something that is not natural to make it look beautiful is going out of the way of really overusing our water, overusing resources that we should be very careful about, because we have to not only think about ourselves, but we have to think about our future. And our population is growing, and we have to be very mindful if we want to have the next generations, and that the generations after that continue to live on this planet. We have to be very mindful of what we do with our part, and that's from everything from yes, from our front yards, from our cars, to our houses, to our clothes, to our makeup, to whatever we do, whatever we put on us, will soon become part of the earth. And that is something that I love having your cat be part of this too. Hi. But yes, I think mindfulness is very, very important.
There she is.
Hi.
One of the things that kind of stood out is just like, and I also have a question, is this idea of these people, you know, these golf course communities, these really super rich, exclusive golf course communities are just killing themselves, you know?
Yep. And it's extremely sad, but it's also, I mean, what do you expect when you are exposed to chemicals that are sprayed on the lawn every single day to keep this grass green that isn't supposed to be green or isn't even supposed to be there in the first place? I feel like Mother Nature is so smart and so powerful. It's a giver and a destroyer. And the more we want to control and manipulate Mother Earth, I think that's when Mother Earth will push back the hardest. And I think as human beings, we need to be thankful that we can coexist and flourish and live our lives on this planet. So therefore, we really need to learn how to work with it and be smart and do our best to also give back as well.
So, other than the fact that I think a lot of people are afraid of nature and Mother Earth, you look at all those British, it runs in a lot of British films, kind of this fight between nature and the city. But my question is, how do we create value again? You know, because are we not, we're just wasting because everything's a single serving. We're wasting our time because we don't care, we don't value it. You know, people aren't using recyclable, you know, reusable things or zero waste things because there's no value to it, right? We're taught to buy, have the next thing. So how is it that we can create value to things again?
I really think that comes back to self-love and self-care. Like really thinking beyond the convenience of the moment and thinking about what that plastic object that you can take your leftovers home with, just to really like think back to the health component of it, you know, like the best way to keep things in storage is, you know, with glass and clay and all these different ways other than plastic. But just the more and more we accept plastic into our life, the more we're contributing to the waste. You know, to bring your bag, your canvas bag or whatever reusable bag you have with, you know, to the grocery stores. Thankfully in California, we are no longer giving out plastic bags, but I think with everything we do, we just need to be mindful of not being another component of creating more waste on this planet. And also with each thing made, there's a lot of energy that goes into it, which also contributes to pollution. So, I mean, it's a great topic to really get into, especially when living in the city versus the country. Like I know when I was in the country, I grew most of my food, and here in the city, I don't have a place to grow food. So it's going to the farmers markets and supporting local businesses that hopefully haven't traveled so far to get to you. But I mean, it's trying your best. I know it's so hard when you are in a city and you can't, you know, be in direct communication with the farmers, or when you can go to the farmers market, at least there's that little component where you know that it hasn't gone that far and so much gas hasn't been used. But and then It's something actually I'm really frustrated with, and I'm always looking for more support around that and knowing how to help others. I feel like in the city things have to be quick and simple and convenient, and making those extra steps of bringing your bag or your Tupperware where you go is a great way to start. And then, yeah, getting familiar when your farmers market days are and supporting those businesses versus big chains is very important.
Yeah, you know, we started this whole conversation with community, and it's almost like to reduce your footprint, you have to create community, and it has to be somewhat local. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to Zero Waste Chica, and I said, wow, you trying to figure out how to be zero waste means you're going and knocking on doors, you know, and going to little shops and asking. And I think, you know, zero waste is a way, you know, you need help. You can't do it on your own. You know, we all need
Mm-hmm.
everyone to contribute. And, you know, that's why we're here doing the summit, having conversations with people from all different walks of life, you know, to ask the question, what is zero waste? How can we be zero waste? And not just from an action part of, of, of things, but a being part of things. So
Mm-hmm.
you work for a local San Francisco shop. You want to tell us a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of your local spot there?
Yeah, I'm a formulator and creator of the product line for Scarlet Sage Herb Company, which is in the Mission on Valencia Street in 23rd. It's been around for 20 plus years, and I came in at the tail end of the original owners and worked as a herbalist on the retail floor. And then when the owners switched over, it was then when I moved into the position of the formulator and creating the product line for the store. So that was a really exciting experience and opportunity. I previously, when I was in Colorado, I had my own apothecary and also had a certified organic herb garden. So it was really nice to transplant myself here and be connected still with herbs, and still looking for that little lands that I can grow my herbs and hopefully one day move back to nature. But I do know that, you know, within each experience that we're given, we're also given opportunities to learn and to expand. And so for me, learning how to stay balanced, stay grounded in a very busy city. I know it's not as busy as New York. Thankfully, there's a lot of nature around and the ocean energy is right here. Very thankful for that. But yeah, it's really important in a city to learn how to stay grounded. And there's so many different ways to do that. And it's really like tapping into the ways that really connect with you and something that you will do daily. I have a walking meditation that I do every day on my way to work. I also wake up and do my yoga and somatic movements to really connect me to my body. And prayer and mantras and meditation is a very big thing for myself too. So really learning how to equip yourself with things that work for you, things that connect with you, to stay grounded and to remind yourself that you're a human on this planet, and that we all are bright lights. And a really important thing for me, to just in my every heartbeat breath that I take, is just to stay compassionate and to help remind other human beings that we are all here on this planet and we are all trying to make it and live. And it's so important that we have the general, like, most basic compassion of just being kind to other human beings. And and there's so much going on right now with politics and the energies of just opposing forces. And I know, you know, when we're busy and times are chaotic and there's different stressors coming from different areas, it's so important to remind yourself that we are all humans and we do need to be compassionate towards one another. And if we all are grounded in our truth, then we can help really make a difference in this world. And I'm so blown away and just in awe of the people who are doing that. And it's a beautiful thing to see, for sure.
Self-compassion is powerful. It's that vibration of love, right? And you have to kind of be in compassion for yourself. Specifically, I mean, you as an herbalist, you know, you get a lot of people from all walks of life coming to you. How would you teach someone who is used to pain medication and prescription things and trying to transition? What are some steps that people can take to start learning about things? You know, you walk into a Whole Foods and there's aisles and aisles of turmeric, and there's, no, it should be turmeric with pepper, no, but it should be this and this. So what are small steps, compassionate steps that people can take to start healing their body with herbs and get off, you know, Tylenol and naproxen? That's the one that works for me, and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's all different for each person and their unique story, and what they're coming forward with. So someone who is on different medications, you definitely have to be mindful that you may need assistance with an herbalist versus do it yourself. Just all depends on what you're taking. But I'm really believe that if you start supporting your nervous system and your body with good organic food, that makes a huge difference. And just being really mindful of what you intake can actually change your mood, and and know that probably most people have some kind of allergy to different types of food just because of all the different toxins that we've been bombarded with. So sometimes when we eat something and we crave it, it's because we're actually craving it because it's toxic for us, and it makes you go kind of crazy. So it's not always the case, but there's definitely situations where people who have nut allergies, they, after they eat it, they crave more, but it actually makes them feel like depressed or kind of a little crazy, but it's something that they just want more of it and they don't know how to stabilize. So yeah, I would say a good way to start is also, one of my favorite herbs is ashwagandha. It's something that, it's an Ayurvedic herb. It's something that is an adaptogen, so it helps you deal with stress over a period of time. So it's something that you do need to take for a good amount of time, and you can take it ongoing because it's very nourishing. But it helps you, it doesn't make you sleepy, although you could take double dose and it can really calm you down and help you sleep better. But during the day, you could take it as well. And it is something that can give you energy, but also makes you feel grounded. And when you have stressors that come your way, after a period of time, I know I'm like, wow, I handled that with like no like activation of irritability or stress or whatever. I was like, I was able to handle that really well. And thank you, ashwagandha. So ashwagandha is incredible. It's something that you might want to consider seeing if that works well for you. Again, different herbs work differently for different people, so you have to really spend time to tap into your own intuition and also tap into your body and like sit with it and be silent and say, okay, this works for me, this doesn't. I feel grounded with this, I don't with that, and really like move slowly into adding herbs into your life, because also I think the way that we're moving so quickly and we have so many other distractions around us, it's so easy to just like pile all these things on us and not really know like what each thing is doing. So I encourage you to play around with an herb for a week to a month and really see what that does for you, and try it and try it in different ways. Sometimes a tincture goes into your bloodstream quicker, but sometimes capsules, those are building, so you might want to try that. And then also, when you're talking about brands, you might want to look into where these, who's behind these brands. I do know that like big, great organic companies have been bought out by bigger companies, so you have to be very careful who you're supporting. So I would say some great companies out there who are making amazing products and who are really standing behind and doing great things for this planet is Host Defense. That's an amazing medicinal mushroom company. Paul Stamets is an incredible mushroom father who is not only making great strides in human wellness, but also in planet toxicity cleanup. And there's been a lot of research around cancer too with medicinal mushrooms. So I'd look into Host Defense. They're also giving a lot of money back to for funding for helping bees, which are going through a major epidemic right now. And so I think supporting companies that really put their money back into helping the world or this planet, humans, is very important. So I would definitely say check them out. Gaia is another good brand, and New Chapter. Those are to name a few, but what you can do is just really just start researching. We have so much information at our fingertips, and that's a great way to start. But going local, so go to your local herb store and try some fresh herbs, or make a tea, or make a nice little powder potion is a great way to start too. Yeah, raw and less processed is the best way.
So it's always great to ask for help, right? Always great to ask for help and guidance instead of thinking that you know everything.
Yes.
Sun Potion. Have you ever heard of Sun Potion?
Sun Potion's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I use some of their stuff.
Yeah.
I think one thing to note, and I just want to, I mean, it's a question, but I sometimes ask questions as statements. Again, compassion, in the sense of taking time, it's however old you are, that's how long it took you to get to this place. So if you think you're going to get a quick fix from herbs, be patient, right? Mm-hmm. Be compassionate. Change takes time. So going, like you said, what I love what you said, give it at least a week, a month, to make sure that it's working, and listen, and to listen to yourself and intuition. And that's, Rachel, that's a hard one. People have trouble listening to their intuition. I talk to people all the time about that, And one way that we can listen to our intuition and help build it is to build community, right? Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So this has been an amazing conversation, and we're coming near the end of it. We are coming upon the equinox. I know you also do astrology, so you're kind of a one-stop shop in a lot of ways. Music, DJ, herbs, astrology, anything else. I'm sure you probably do.
Yeah, and I also do transplant journeys, which is connecting to our bodies and doing a somatic release and moving through the energies in our bodies. When I also make a herbal concoction for that to help really tap into the subtle energies in our body. And like I said, kind of going back to the component of energy within us is important to release, especially if it's negative, and that's where disease first begins. So yeah, I think, starting with the basics of just like being in your body, connecting with your breath, and tapping and listening to your intuition, those three things are our birthright, and we can have them for free. And it's just slowing down and asking ourselves, like, does this feel right? and really listening. And then when you need some more support, and especially living in different environments, in this day and age, like, we do need outside help and support, and there are so many great people and healers out there, and there's also plants and mushrooms. So definitely tapping into that wellness of wisdom is important, and having that support as well, for sure.
Well, I'd like to tap into some of your wisdom. What are your advice for some herbs and people can take to kind of shift from summer to fall? What should we be expecting? What should we be looking out for? And
yeah, so this is a great transition time for us to do a detox, or support detox our livers, because we're going from different weather to needing more, like, from having, like, eating light greens and fruits and vegetables, to going to a time where we're going to start eating more warming foods and fats and things that are substantial. So in order to really move into that period, it's great to give yourself a little time to detox, and just going with food as medicine, just looking at lots of fresh greens, really important. If you're starting to feel cold already, ginger is a great herb to use. It helps warm your body and also move things through your body. Dandelion, like I mentioned before, that's an amazing liver herb. You could also do burdock or milk thistle. Those are great herbs to really go through and detox and tone your liver. And like I mentioned also, this is a time where maybe the stress level starts to heighten a little because we're back at school, or we're getting less light. Ashwagandha is a great thing to experiment with and see how that can help adapt your stress levels. And then I would say also another good thing to try out which is a really great antioxidant and a great thing for your heart, is hawthorn berry. It's something that can really help you get back to connecting to your heart, and tapping into that self-love and knowing that you got this, and you just need to breathe and connect with yourself and hear yourself, and know that if you just do these things, you're going to move into this next season with great support and ability to have a great last part of your year. But definitely how you set up yourself for this next season is how your health will reflect too. So take a moment to cut sugars out of your diet, cut alcohol out of your diet, and really cut carbs out of your diet too if you eat them, and just give yourself a little time, like a week to 2 weeks, or even 3 days if that's all you can give. But give yourself time to just kind of like reset, rebalance, recalibrate before you move into the winter season, and you'll see a difference. And then also in that time, even I suggest journaling, or writing down your thoughts and how you're feeling, and also paying attention to the moon cycles, and maybe on the next full moon that comes, to write down the things that you're ready to let go of, or the things you want to call in for this new season. Actually, this time right now is a really good time to do that, because we have the equinox, the new moon is here with Virgo, which is a great time to create new habits, to start new patterns, and to focus on your health as well. So if you slow down and give yourself these simple things, you will be amazed with how this next season unfolds for you, for sure.
That is awesome. So much knowledge. Thank you so much, Rachel. And if I can, I am taking away so much, and I'm sure all the listeners and watchers are as well. And stay tuned. We'll have a link to connect to Rachel and what all the other things that she's doing. And she's also, if you upgrade with the package, she'll have a little special treat for you. So thank you, Rachel, and thank you for joining the discussion and taking the time. I know your time is valuable, and thanks for sharing everything and your especially your compassion and your love for the world. So thank you.
Absolutely. My pleasure, and sending so much love to all of you.
Oh, thank you.